The 2022 Industrie New South Wales SuperSports Motor Racing Championship is proudly brought to you by these loyal partners. The 2022 Industrie New South Wales SuperSports Motor Racing Championship is proudly brought to you by these loyal partners.
Well, this will be really interesting to see what the drivers and teams have done with respect to tyre pressures, because as the days got cooler and the nights got cooler, where do you start them? You know, the typical thing is you bleed them out through the course of a day, but here you'd actually want to put them back up a bit.
Increase up a bit, yeah.
That's it. So I think this will suit the littler cars at first. The ones like 6SRs, the single seat ones, will probably come on a little quicker in the first few corners, and then the radicals will get into it.
What about the SR8s?
They'll be having plenty of horsepower, but they might struggle through the first few corners.
And away they go, and Peter White already looking for a way around, looked like John Paul Drake, and he looks like he might even go, oh no, he got the second. So Lauke was the one that had the bad start, and he's dropped back behind Muston.
He's dropped back to about 5th or 6th here.
And here's Peter White down the inside of Drake, so he goes to P2 and slides himself out of contention.
I thought he was going around there, Gary.
Yeah, he kept his spot ahead of Muston, and I guess he must see Muston as his rival, because they're both in SR8s and they're both really quick in those cars, and they're both ahead of Lauke, which is interesting. Yeah,
that should be interesting to see how that plays out through the course of this race. But yeah, very good competitors and combatants, Peter White and Neil Muston.
Yeah, Neil Muston used to run in production sports, but gave that away. He had a couple of bad accidents in a Porsche. I mean, you just stay with flying the jet and doing a bit of radical SR8 racing.
That's it, yeah. Aaron Lee looks like he's got up ahead of Mark Brame as well. So good start for Aaron.
Yeah, Paul Palmer up to 9th. So a quick rundown of the order as we see it. It's Godfrey in front, Drake second, White, then Muston, Lauke, Kelly in 6th position. And behind that there's Brame, Palmer, Clare, and Godfrey's just having a timing issue, so he's dropped down when he shouldn't, unless he's got a problem. And then we've got Simon Copping on the back of Mitch Nelson coming up into the last corner, because we've seen him spun around in the earlier race.
That's it. Yeah, and Godfrey's away to a lead. Yeah, so I'm not sure he's on the timing, but he is leading.
Yeah. That throws you out when you're trying to call them and all you're seeing. And I can see Stephen Shields that's Mitch Nelson trying to warm his tyres up a bit. No, that's John Canavan.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, so they're obviously suffering tyre-wise with the temperatures.
That's it. And looked like Simon Copping just went past the inside of Nielsen as well.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The lighter cars, they won't get any weight down on the rear wheels as much as a heavier car, will they?
No, if they've got their tyre pressures a little low, it's going to be a long race getting them up.
Yeah, it's hard to generate because the track temperature itself would be well down. Any idea what the track temperature would be down to now? It's 12 degrees ambient. But
yeah, I'd be guessing, but yeah, it wouldn't be very high.
Yeah, probably much the same, I would have thought.
I would have thought so.
Yep.
And given in the daytime and to be up near 40s and 50s, it's a big difference.
Yeah, beautiful day today, wasn't it? It was just ideal for this sort of racing in this time of the year. Now, Lauke still can't get around these two SR8s that are just ahead of him, and he's got Aaron Lee right behind him, so he's got to watch what happens to that he doesn't get caught up, and Drake just in front of Muston. So the SR8s are a lot better at night, obviously, than they have been during the day.
Yeah, and I think the other advantage there, Gary, will be is they might be a little kind to their tyre as well, so they might not turn the tyre off them as much. The SR8s do struggle over the space of a one-day race meeting with wearing out the rear tyres.
So Lauke looked to go past Muston in a straight line. I doubt he would be able to. Similar performance in a straight line, I would imagine. But what's the tyre usage for the weekend? Do you allow 6 tyres? Or
yeah, it's one set One set. Yeah,
four
that's
tyres.
it. That's it. Exactly right. You, if you damage one, you're allowed to naturally replace it. So safety is taken care of. But it's a one tyre rule, which means that if you've got lots of horsepower, you tend to do well in the first one or two races, and then you run out of tyre by the last. So it does level it up. That's it. Exactly.
If your car's understeering too much, your fronts will go away as well.
Exactly right. Yes.
Okay, so at the moment, Godfrey leads by about 5.5 seconds. White in second, Drake third, Mustin in fourth. Then it's Lauki, Lee, Palmer, who's done pretty well to get ahead of Brame. Brame has Claire as his greatest rival in SR3s. Shirl's in 10th spot, Copping in 11th. Then it's Nielsen, who's further back than I would have imagined he'd be. I thought he'd be a bit closer to the front of the SR3s. Champion, Peacock, Royal, Sue Hughes, Canavan's dropped back to 17, so he must have had an off that we haven't seen. And Brooke rounds out the runners because Nick Kelly has pitted.
There we go, and Paul Palmer's just snuck up the inside of Mark Brame, it looked like. That's a good move in the stall. And I think also Mark Lauki got past Mustin.
Yes, he has, so he's moved up one spot. So where's the difference between the West and the Radical in these conditions? Is the West a little bit... the Store and the Radical in these conditions? And the Store...
Yeah, the Store's a lot lighter, so even though it's got a smaller engine, it will have a 10 to 15 horse kph difference in a straight line down the front straight here.
Yep.
And that's its advantage of the Store. And then the Radical being a little bit wider tends to be very good under brakes as well.
Yeah, and certainly Paul Palmer's performances over the last season to this season have improved substantially as well.
Certainly has. He's come used to this car. The previous car he had was a flat floor West, so not a lot of underbody aero, and the Store has half tunnels.
Yep. So
he's becoming more used to carrying that corner speed and setting personal best now every time he goes out in it.
So Mitch Nielsen trying to make a move on Claire down at turn 6. I don't know if he pulled it off or not. Well, it wasn't. Was it Nielsen that we've seen? It was one of the blue Radicals.
Might have been Steve Shields, I think.
Yeah, it might have been too. You normally don't see Stephen Shields without being giving him a rough time. He's not normally in front of Mitch Nielsen, or Brad Nielsen.
Nielsen, yeah.
I dare say if Mitch was driving that car, it'd be a little bit
further up. That's it. Yeah.
But Brad tried out a future racer down at Winton a couple of weekends ago and quite liked it. He tried it and bought it.
Okay, there you go.
So another motorcycle engine type car, a Hayabusa powered one, similar to what he races in this.
Exactly right. Yeah, the PowerTech engine in the SR3 is based on a Hayabusa.
Yep.
Oh, Lauki's working his way up to the back of Pete White here. This should be a good battle.
It should be a great battle. I still think that his best drives were at that support races here last year with supercars when he won all 3 races, and he withstood some big challenges, and now Lauki's even moved up on him and got him out of 5.
And
he has the inside running, and I don't know if Pete White actually seen him, but he didn't care.
Yeah, he didn't give him a chance there, shut the door.
Yep. So Lauki has to look around, and Drake now starting to close in again on him because he had a really good start but then dropped well back.
That's correct.
So Lauki's trying to go around the outside. Isn't he a fun guy to talk to, Mark Lauki? Full of beans.
Certainly is, and still going well at his age as well, racing.
Yeah, turned 72 yesterday, I believe.
That's what I understand too.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't have too much birthday cake because he's not been held back.
Well, he's not the biggest guy in the world either.
Well, here we go. This should be a good run down the front straight.
Yeah, now they use a bit of side drafting, and no, it didn't happen because White got a spurt on just out of that corner and took that spot back. And actually, he's probably pulled a little bit away from the Wolf down the straight.
Yeah, Peter's not lacking horsepower.
Because his car doesn't have the cubic capacity of Mustin's, does it?
Oh, they're very similar in terms of the origin of the engines, but not sure who has the most horsepower though.
Well, yeah, I've heard that Mustin's car's a 3 litre and this is a 2.7. So, but
that could be true.
But this is certainly a battle, and White's doing a great job. This is reminiscent of the previous event I was talking about. All the he's done it now. He's let him through. So, well, I don't know if he let him, but He's through and got away with it.
Yeah, he might have the opportunity here around the back just to get a little bit of a gap before they come onto the front straight, because Pete will naturally open the legs of that car.
I think Lauki's bolted.
He has now.
Gone. And now what Peter White's got to worry about is John Paul Drake, who's coming up behind him as well.
Yeah, it looks like the curse of the third race on tyres for the SR8 might have started running out of some rears here.
I would have thought that the Wolves wouldn't have been in much better position, actually.
Yeah, must be the maybe a little bit lighter, a little more aero.
Yeah, and the track temperature's probably helping a lot as well.
Yeah, come in to help them.
But so at the moment, Godfrey's out to 13.1 seconds in front of Lauki, with White third and Drake. This battle going on for third spot. Mustin fourth, Lee fifth, Brame in sixth. Now Palmer's back to seventh, so Brame's got past him again somewhere.
That's a great battle.
And yeah, that's been going all race long. And now all John Paul Drake has to do is just follow what Lauki did previously. Oh, he's going to try it up the inside, got squeezed for room there and just had to pull out of it at the last minute.
Hey, I tell you what, if this battle continues for much longer, Neil Mustin might walk his way up to the back of him as well.
Yeah, he wouldn't mind buying in it, and to win the battle of the SR8 would probably be something he'd like. And I think going on the last two races, he would. This sort of almost squares the ledger now with White ahead of Mustin.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, the points will be interesting.
Because Mustin beat him in the last two races.
That's correct.
Now Drake's got the run up the inside at turn 7, and he may have got that move done.
Yeah, let's see if he
no,
can
he
hang
hasn't.
on. Under brakes. It's going to go the long way around.
Yeah. Oh,
now it's going to be horsepower.
And turbocharged car versus a naturally aspirated car as well.
Pete's managed to hang on here.
And we'll have some sort of advantage down the straight. We surmise, we have done in the past, and we've been right, but we've known to be wrong on occasions.
Not often, Gary. Come on now.
Mustin has closed in, as you anticipated, that he would get closer to this dice. We've got under 4 minutes of this race to go, so we're on lap 8 now, so this could be the longest race that they have, and certainly going quicker in the cool conditions.
That's it. Yeah, I think we're in for a really good finish here with Mustin coming up to the back. The battle for third will be huge.
And Lauki is still second, but he's dropping pace to Godfrey, but he's pulled away from this battle as well. So he's firmly entrenched in second at this stage. But this is an engrossing battle back here for White having to do it the hard way. He said, every time I get in front of someone, I get challenged, and kicked up a bit of dust there, did Drake out of turn 5, but still manages to hold on. So we've got under 3 minutes to go, so we're saying 2 laps. This must be the penultimate lap, I would imagine.
Yeah, very good example of defensive driving here from Peter.
He's not doing anything wrong, is he?
No, certainly not. Just putting it right where he needs to.
Yeah. And Mustin basically on the back of them now, so this is going to be very interesting for position 3.
Yeah, looked like Aaron Lee just coming into the back of shot there, so lonely race for him, but doing very well in 6th.
Yeah, and he's clear of Brame, whereas this is a battle for second in the Radicals between Claire and Stephen Shields. Nothing between those two.
No, having a great race here. Steve has really come to grips. It's the first time Steve has driven this car in the dry. The last 3 race meetings have all been wet.
They have been. Yeah.
So he was very excited, the opportunity to drive today in the dry.
And you don't feel the coldness in the car, do you, when you're driving in these conditions?
Not once you get going on that first on the warm-up day, you do, because being open top, you notice the cold air. Yeah. Well,
okay, so I think we're now out on our last lap with under 2 minutes of this race remaining, or we may actually go an extra lap. It's a bit hard to tell sometimes. We can't actually see when the last lap board goes out on certain occasions. But can Stephen Shields do anything about getting back second spot? And it appears Drake has got past Peter White as well. Okay. Mustin and White are separated at the moment by less than 2 seconds, so that's close. There's our race leader coming out onto the straight. Is he up for the checkered flag on this occasion? We'll wait and see. No, last lap board. So we've still got another lap to go. and he
Looks
splits them this weekend.
the length of the front straight ahead here.
And he's, the last couple of rounds has been arduous for him, let's say the least, and almost be soul destroying when, particularly at round 1, he led the first race quite easy, and the thing
had an engine issue, I believe.
And he went straight home, so no one could find out what happened.
Let's surmise it was an engine issue. Yeah. But and then he struggled with the wet conditions in round 2, but has bounced back very strongly in round 3.
So I think Palmer's had an issue there on that lap because Brame's back ahead of him, and these two are almost on the back of him.
So if he's not careful, they will...
and the car looks twitchy up through the top of the track as well, through 10 and 9 and 10.
Yeah.
But one more lap to survive, and he may hold on to position 8.
Yeah, I was talking to Paul before the race, being a fellow store driver, and we were talking about what should be starting pressures, and maybe he's blown through on his fronts. Looks to be struggling to turn a bit. Yeah,
and he may have had a bit of a moment we didn't see. So this is the automatic flashing light scenario that these cars adopted, a la GT Championship cars. So it's just press a button and they flash a few times just to let them know. So it's not an angry driver going on the high beam all the time. And he comes out of the last corner, will lap that particular car. And
looks like Sue Hughes going to lose a lap.
Yep, and so Ryan Godfrey takes 3 from 3. It's been a big day for him in the third round of the Industrie SuperSports Championship, and a good one for him. And you must be there biting your teeth. You could have been up there somewhere amongst that lot.
Coulders, wouldas and shouldas, Gary.
Yeah, that's always the way it works. Lauke into second spot. And looking for third. Drake gets third. And Will White, he holds on the fourth.
It
was a lap car that they were going past. So Mustang in fifth.
Yeah, Peter Royal looked like they were just lapping.
Here's the battle behind Palmer. This is for second and third in the Radical SR3 series, within a series, and of course they score points to the outright situation as well.
That's correct. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good day for Peter Clare as well here.
The best day he's had, I think.
Yeah, he'll take home some silverware maybe.
Well, you're handing it out. So.
I will be.
There they go, across the line. So Aaron Lee picks up position 6. Mark Brame in 7th. He runs the Radical SR3 class. That's class 1. And that's a third win for him for the day. Paul Palmer gets across the line in 8. Peter Clare in 9. Stephen Shields in 10. Simon Copping in 11. John Canavan in 12. Brad Nielsen in 13. Steve Champion, Peacock, Brooke, Sue Hughes down a lap, and Royal down a lap as well. Yeah,
quick shout out there for Josh Peacock. First race meeting too. Normally runs RA and looks after other drivers. Decided to have a steer himself today.
Well, that's the beauty of the Radical series, where you can start off by doing RA and then you do their club days, and then you move up and do either a Radical race or come and join SuperSports.
That's it.